All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back live but not live for another episode of the Mix Behind the Mic podcast. We are here with Jeff and Karina. Say the last name because I'm going to say it wrong.
Besen.
And they are the owners of something that I find very interesting, which is Not a Wedding Crasher. And guys, I'm super excited to have you on the show. You're based out of California, right?
Yes.
San Diego.
Okay. I love me San Diego. Realistically, I told you off the pod that I'm looking to move to Florida, but if I could move anywhere, I'd be in the San Diego, LA area. Well, my fiance wants nothing to do with that. So we're going to dive into lots of things today, but get us started. How did we start this? How did we come up with this concept? Were you in the wedding business at all before this came on? And I'm going to let you take the show and kind of walk us through the whole thing.
Yeah, good question. Short answer is no. Have not been in the wedding industry other than getting married almost 20 years ago. And it's kind of part of the story. So we've been married a long time and we value date nights. So weekly date nights, we try to go out every week, do something different, and different became the usual. And meaning we went to movies, we went to dinner, we drove to the beach, went to comedy. Like those things started getting a little old. And just a random night, one night on the couch before the weekend, we're like, what are we doing this weekend? And a random thought came to my head, which is like, we haven't been to a wedding in a while and we haven't gotten dressed up in a while. What if we went to a wedding? And Karina quickly said, you can't just go to a wedding. Like, we don't know anybody getting married. And we chatted about it a little more and said, what if there's a way you can go to a wedding? Did a little research. There's nothing that existed like it.
Yeah.
Where you could just essentially go to a wedding for someone you don't know. A few light bulbs went off, and then the idea just went from idea to let's execute on this.
I think it's amazing. Again, super intrigued. I think we originally found you on a Philly Bride or one of their Facebook groups. And as soon as I saw it, I immediately clicked on it and was like, this is golden. Like, we need to know more about it. So first off, how long has it been going on? How long have you been doing this?
We launched in March.
So it's
we're
super
new. Mm-hmm.
Super new, but we've gained pretty significant traction in a really amazing way, more than we expected very quickly.
So, like I said, I kind of gave you some questions, but, I love that you're newer just because I just think I like that we got in early with you to kind of watch you, develop, and I'm super excited to see where you guys take this. But break it down a little bit deeper. Like I read a lot of stuff on the website, so I do know some of the answers to these questions I want to ask. But for our listeners, I'm curious as far as you saying that you built this simply from an idea from a date night, and I don't think we said it on the air or not, but you have 3 kids, and I totally respect the date nights, and I get it. I only have 1 kid, so we're there. But the concept, was it? I guess it could be pitched either which way, but I was more curious of my thoughts are what you just said, date night, to be able to go out to a random thing. I think it's awesome, and I love especially for me, being in the wedding business for most of my career. If I knew someone was getting married, a lot of times they would book me or my company, so I'm never the guest. So it's very rare, and I've been with my fiance 10 years when the only time I really go to weddings is when someone of her friends or family that didn't book us essentially go, and it's far and few in between. So I kind of love the concept within itself, but I also think you have such a market for the venues that have minimums and 125 guest minimums, and it's a month away from the wedding. They only have 110 confirmed, and they're eating 15 plates, if you will. So as much as I respect and love it for the date night aspect, I guess it's, again, they coexist, but I really think you might have gold here with the fact of the minimum guests, or excuse me, the minimum, heads they need at a wedding. And if they're 10 short, boom, you get 5 couples to essentially come and make that quota. It's a win-win for everybody.
I would say you're absolutely right. And there's 2 dynamics that happen. One is, yes, there's venues that have minimums that can't be met by the couple. And the other one is guests cancel a week or 2 before the wedding. unexpectedly. So couples are eating those costs that they otherwise didn't expect. So in both of those cases, they're coming to us and saying, hey, I have 4 seats or 10 seats, or this past weekend we had a wedding in Long Island that had a little over 20 seats that they needed to fill. And we were able to fill, actually we were oversubscribed, meaning we had more demand than supply by multiple folds. So we were able to fill those seats, which was great. And the couple was extremely happy.
And those are the 2 ways you would almost expect it to work for the brides and grooms. But another way we've actually found that people are using it is they'll open up 2 to 4 seats at their wedding, and they'll specifically write, we want someone that's going to get out on the dance floor, that's going to encourage people to go dance and make it a more, full, lively party. And that's been a really interesting, thing to see.
I think it's great. Again, coming from the DJ world, we're always looking for that couple that, starts the party, has high energy, isn't scared to be the first one out there kind of thing. So again, that aspect's cool. So again, I have a million questions and I'm trying to keep this all in mind as we go. But so I know you have something where you do a screening. So tell us a little bit about that and that process. And do the couples ever have any kind of FaceTime involvement, checking of who they think? Do you bring them 10 couples and say, hey, we want 5 of them, and they screen? How does that all work?
Basically, the couple will list their seats with us, and the guests on their side, when they sign up, they make a profile, they link some socials, and the bride and groom essentially get the seat request. And the bride and grooms get to yes, no, for whatever reason, on people coming to their wedding.
Yeah, that's right. And to augment it a little more, the first thing that happens is a couple lists their seats, and we reach out to every couple that essentially signs up. They start a sign-up process and they complete a form. And when their wedding comes in, we get notified and reach out to them to confirm details. We look for a wedding website. We want to make sure it's a real wedding before someone tries to put something on there for an event that doesn't even it's not even going to happen. They list their seats, and then on the guest side, there's a verification process. And what that entails when they request a seat, and what that entails is they have to scan their ID and they have to scan their face. And that's done through Stripe, which Stripe is a global, very well-known industry name. And they have to do that. So that's kind of one part of the process to ensure safety. And the other one is, yes, as Karina said, they put in their socials, and the couple has the ability to approve or decline every single request. So it's really on them. They can go look at someone's profile. They can read the profile that we have on their website, or they can look at the social media, and they can decide who they want to attend. So there's multiple different steps in the process to ensure that it's a bit more safe, if you will, to the extent we can help that.
Again, going back to you being the perfect client for the business, right? I guess I didn't think of it originally as that aspect. So let's just use me as an example. And I like this concept. So me and my fiance sign up on your website. We create a profile. We put our pictures up, or that's irrelevant because we got to do the thing with Strike. So
Are you a guest?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I should mention, when someone does the Stripe, that is totally encrypted. Nobody sees that. So that's just verifying an identity.
Okay.
Actually, and maybe you can finish your question. I will answer it, because you do put a profile picture up along with a bio that's written and stuff.
But I guess my question is, talking from the guest side, if me and my fiance want to be more occurring non-wedding crashers, if you will, it's something where, do you guys send us an email every time there's a wedding within 100 miles of us kind of thing, where it's we pick and choose availability based off of what's near us? I looked on the website, I see you literally have them all over the place, Michigan, New York, etc. I saw. So I'm just curious on that aspect of it.
Yeah, good question. And we're about a week away from launching a new website experience. Same name, same great everything. But we've got a lot of feedback from people, and we've had our own pain points for building a website. We've hired someone, but there were a lot of pain points, and we wanted a whole new experience that was better for everybody. So the answer is yes. We're going to have basically when a wedding gets listed 100. Actually, it's interesting. The default is 100 miles from a guest. When if there's a wedding listed, it's 100 miles from you, you'll get an automated email. So it's, instead of having to proactively go on the website, it's going to reach out to you and say, hey, there's a wedding. Harry, you and your fiance want to go attend this wedding? And you can go log in and view the details.
Now let's flip it to the couple side. Okay, they have 6 seats open. They put it in. I'm curious. I'm actually super curious about the money side. Well, 2-part question. One, I know what going rates are, if you will, for a lot of weddings. And I feel what I stalked on the website, they seemed so much cheaper than I thought it was going to be. So I'm curious, they're not just quote unquote, do they make up the number for starters?
They do, yeah. So it's totally up to the couple, how much they want to have for we call it a contribution amount for the seats. And so far the weddings we've had have ranged from $25 to $85 and everything in between. And yeah, from, you're in the business a long time. We've seen plates that can range much, much more than that.
That's what I was baffled by. At the average, I would say, I want to say min is 100. 150, I think, is what we'll say what decent amount is. So like, I didn't know if, based off of what I looked at, I seen some that were $30 and $80, like you said, where I'm like, are they just taking the hit because their wedding's in 3 weeks and they're trying to get a couple bucks out of it, kind of thing? But I just assumed the number was going to be way higher than it was.
Yeah. They said it. So it's up to them what they're comfortable accepting as a contribution. And yeah, if you think about it from the guest side, we think it's a very good value to go out, have, in most cases, an open bar, dinner, dancing, mingling, networking. Seems like a no-brainer for guests.
I'm curious if you mind sharing your end of it with like what this costs. And to be honest with you guys, I'll be slightly cocky here and say, I think you're going to love me because I love everything about this and I want to push this for you guys. So I'm just curious what it costs the consumer.
So from an economics perspective, I think you're probably hitting on our business model, which is we take 20% out from the couple. So the couple get 80% of, which is a large majority of whatever the contribution amount is set at.
Okay. I'm going back and forth of, is it more, I guess it's literally split down the middle. Like, perfect example. What is your demographic? Are you more towards the pushing the couples that need to hit the guest count? Are you pushing it more towards, we have 3 kids and we want more fun date nights kind of thing? And like I said, I guess it could be literally down the middle, but I'm just like baffled with thoughts going through my head.
When we went into this, I think some people were like, you're going to be getting hit with a lot of the younger crowd that wants to just go out and get drunk. We found the dynamic. Not at all. It's been so diverse from age to socioeconomic status, to gender, to relationship status. Like, it's been wild within in an amazing, really amazing way. And the stories that have come out of it have been really exceptional. Like, people have, going as strangers and coming out as friends, regardless of age, regardless of anything.
I do want to pick your brains of like, what could be the negatives or what could, and that you might not even experienced yet. But like you said, my first thought was 24-year-olds coming, getting drunk and like, making some sort of scene. And God forbid none of that ever happens. I just feel like, where I guess your perfect demographic is you guys, right? Like a married couple that want to have a date night. And I think that should be the majority of people. And I guess that's where your screening and details and all that stuff comes into play. Are any of your couples talking to these people before the wedding?
Right now, we don't have the ability. We are going to have like a chat feature, if you will, where they can ask questions so we can moderate all of that. Karina's not all that.
We're debating the chat.
Yeah, we can turn it on.
Like, feel free. I don't want to like step on toes asking questions. And listen, you guys are new, so I mean, let's be honest. Like, I totally understand that you guys are doing process of elimination of like this works and this doesn't, and how can we better the brand as you continue to do this.
Yeah, I try to think of it from the bride side, and I'm like, I can't imagine being a bride fielding anyone else's questions other than what I already have to answer for my wedding.
Sure.
Just like adding another thing onto their plate.
And to be honest with you, that was kind of the lead of my question, where I said, like, are you connecting them with these potential people? Because I also feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of this is done in a short amount of time, right?
It varies. We've had weddings as short as 1 week where we've worked with a couple 1 week in advance, and there's some people, their wedding, for example, there's one in Texas that's not until November. So
Okay.
it really varies. But most of them are more, I would say, shorter term.
And the reason I say that is because, as you just mentioned, if it's 3 weeks away, their heads are already spinning with 9,000 things on their mind, especially the bride, if you will. So one more thing like screening or having conversations back and forth with this potential stranger showing up didn't seem ideal if it was short. The November couple, on the other end, I feel like that might be a completely different concept of they might have the time to care. And this goes back to, you know, you want a fun couple that's going to be out on the dance floor, if you will,
That's
to
right.
do a little screening. And the people that are 1 to 2 weeks away might simply just be trying to save some cost on the head plates if they're 10 short on, you know, their guest count.
So we have a wedding. It's actually the one in November, right? That
Yep.
we're speaking about
Yeah.
in Texas. It's a Harry Potter themed wedding.
Okay.
And that filled up so fast.
So fast.
You didn't even have to say it. I knew it. How many seats did they have available?
I think they had 20 seats.
20. Now, do they tell you what's on the menu, what their total count is? I'm just curious of the details of like what they give you to, you know, entice these guests to come sign up to come to their wedding.
Yeah, and this is honestly part of the kind of feedback loop from people over the last few months we've gotten, and why we're making improvements on the website is guests want to know what they're getting, right, for whatever contribution amount.
Absolutely.
So we're making improvements like what kind of music are you having? What is going to be on the menu? Is it, I mentioned this earlier, but open bar? Is it not open bar? The more description, the better. And we encourage couples that is going to, you know, a good rule of thumb is more the better, because people want to kind of picture it in their head what they're going to get out of that.
I can't believe, as the DJ aspect of things, that wasn't like one of my first questions. Like, if me and my fiance are going and the couple, it's their second wedding and they're in their late 50s versus Gen Zs that are 26 and want straight hip hop, like knowing the demographics of what the couple's age, demographics, music, that's got to be a massive thing too.
Agreed. Yeah, and there's been many asks. The other big one is like cultural experiences. So we had a Mexican wedding in Texas it was in May, and the one actually we just got this listing yesterday that went live. There's one in Riverside in August. That's another Mexican wedding. So like, and everyone wants to go to an Indian wedding, so it's like
something different.
Still, sure. Yeah, everyone wants this unique experience. It really goes down to, and this is an experience for people.
Who doesn't love going to a wedding? Again, like you said, it's an open bar, it's food, it's a great date night. It's way better than the movies or a restaurant that you've done 100 times if you've been married a long time. I'm also a massive supporter of date nights are mandatory, and I think, you know, we get caught up in life and kids, and again, I only have one, you have three, so I can't imagine. But like the concept, it's just, again, this is why I'm just such a big fan of the idea and the concept. As far as, you know, you getting a chance to pitch to our listeners, etc., is there anything that might not be on the website or might be on the new website that you want to take a minute or two to plug away for you guys that, you know, we haven't talked about yet?
Yeah, so there's a few new features that we're really excited about, which includes automated emails when new weddings get listed within a certain radius of people. The ability to add, right now, everyone does need to get verified, but we're adding new features where people can just add, if you want to be a lead host, or sorry, a lead guest, and you have other people you want to attend with, whether it's your significant other or there's like 3 other people you want to attend with, you could basically add them to a group and you can request seats as a group, which makes things easier for people, for guests. It's a little less cumbersome than the current process.
You don't want one of you to get accepted and the other one not. So if you apply as a group or as a couple, then they kind of know you're a package deal.
So that just made me think of another question. Is there anything against 4 girlfriends coming to this?
We had
it's
it.
common.
We've already had. When I go back to like how diverse people attending these weddings are, it's also like we'll categorize some of the guests: single people, couples, groups of four ladies. And you mentioned DJ, you're like DJ in the industry, and usually working the DJs. Karina loves this one, which is we have a lot of wedding professionals signed up because they're always working weddings. They're not able to sit on the other side of the table and be a guest and actually enjoy it.
1,000,000%.
We did a wedding expo just to kind of, get a feel for the industry, for the people coming through, and I find that we were really well received by the professionals there. They were all coming by after being like, "Oh, we want to sign up. We never get to enjoy the wedding. We're always working during the wedding," and so it was really cool to see.
And I can't believe I didn't write this down or prep to talk about it. I'm glad it just popped in my head. I have an event every couple years. A friend of mine started it 10 years ago, hired me as the DJ. And I told her 5-6 years later, I said, I'm letting you know I'm doing this again with or without you. And it's the concept, and it's almost similar to what you're saying. And again, I told you I'm from the Philadelphia area. So my friend and I have this thing called Promadelphia, where it's an adult prom, where it's literally what you're saying, where it's generally 150 to 200 people we have come. It's a cocktail hour and 4-hour open bar, and people get dressed up similar to a wedding or a prom, if you will. And it's literally a similar concept of a date night that's not, and the best part about what I like about your concept is the little things. And again, I hope I can help you inquire, put any little pitch in you can, but like the blunt way to say this is you get to go to a wedding without the bullshit. Like, your cousin that you don't get along with, or Aunt Karen, or, you don't care to go to their ceremony. If we're being honest, like 90% of people, I really don't give a shit to go to people's weddings.
They're out of obligation, not because they want to. And that's where we're driving home. Like people actually want to be there.
Yeah, and fill your wedding with guests who want to be there, who are excited to celebrate you and to be part of the celebration, and aren't there because they have to be because of a family member. Or
on our podcast is, how many people, we had a couple's parent, we did a wedding. We've done 2 out of 3 kids. We're doing the 3rd kid's wedding in March. So we booked 3 weddings with one family, and we had the parents come on and give their whole take. And one of their videos or clips went crazy because they were mentioning simply that, they are putting a piece of the pie into it, and that a couple or a handful of their friends were getting invited. And then this is this big controversy of like, well, should or shouldn't their parents' friends be invited? And how many people get invited to a wedding that the couple don't even really care if they were invited or had to feel or obligated to be invited? So if you have total strangers that are excited to come to your wedding, and again, they never get away from the kids and they just want to be able to drink and dance.
I guess part of the pitch is we would love to have a Philadelphia or Philly wedding. I personally have ties to Pennsylvania. I grew up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, not too far from Philly. A lot of people, we have a lot of guests in Philly already, hundreds of people in Philadelphia area that would love to attend a wedding.
I'm definitely going to post this in them group chats. And by the way, like, you guys should be just taking 20 minutes a day and adding yourself to every single Facebook group in the entire country, because
we are.
I bet. But I'm curious if have you dabbled with anything with venues themselves? Because there's some places that don't have a minimum, but lots of places do. So I feel like that's a win-win for you and the venue of, getting them for an extra 5-10 heads, hypothetically.
Yeah, I think it's part of our go-to-market strategy is right now we're D2C, or what I call direct-to-couple, largely. And I think the stats say something like 70% of couples don't use wedding planners. And where I'm going with this is the other 2 avenues that we think that could be big is venues and wedding planners, since they have access to all these couples.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure out the best way to approach them and really break in the industry with something that's different. And there you go. Nice.
Our biggest hurdle is generally educating people. So educating brides and grooms, educating venues, educating wedding planners, people in the industry that just don't know that we exist or that there's a service like this available.
I think you telling me that you've only been around since March is great, considering you're West Coast, we're East Coast, and boom, we're having this conversation today. But I think the more you put stuff out there, content, and have people know about you, and realistically, it's no different from me. Like, we get we'll just say a younger couple that gets married, we crush their wedding, and the next 6 couples from their group are using us again. And that's our goal in every wedding that we do. So, simply thinking Steve and Karen that are now at table 8 that knows nobody, and they immediately plant the seed to that whole table, like, who are you? Why don't we know you? And they're like, we're actually not wedding crashers. And, they explain your whole story. Like, I think it spreads like wildfire. I'm mad I didn't think of this myself, so kudos to you guys.
Well, thanks. And yeah, you got lucky. I mean, just from an entrepreneurial perspective, most people have amazing ideas, but the hardest part is getting from idea to execution. And it's one of those things I was like, did a little research and so let's just run with it and see what happens. And yeah, I mean, it's the educating is just getting it out there in front of people. We've had about 10 weddings so far, and the feedback has been exceptional from both the couple and the couple and the guest side of things. So we're going to have testimonials on the new website, pictures from the actual weddings. So it's going to be something people can actually see and read about very soon.
Here's a tough question maybe for you. What have you seen as your biggest challenges so far?
I think to go back to Karina said is really education. Like, people don't know this is a service, but they don't know it's a service. So it's the guest side has been going exceptionally well. It's the host / couple side. I think there's 2 factors to that. One is the education of it. And then once people actually understand that there is a service like this, it's kind of the social emotional part, which is, do I want strangers at my wedding? And it's getting that over that hurdle for some people.
I think that's got to be the number one, top of the list conversation that they have to be obviously open to.
Right.
But I even think of it this way. Have you guys ever been to an island for an all-inclusive?
Yes.
Sure. Okay. I can't tell you how many times that we've randomly met couples at an all-inclusive that we just happen to wind up bullshitting with or hanging out with for a couple days that were there, and randomly have gotten dinner with said couple or hung out at the pool bar that day. I don't think it's any different. And I also think, how do I put this? The people that are signing up, like yourselves, if you will, that were the product of the couple, the company itself, I think that's also something where, like, I don't know if you guys are like crazy, wild dancer party animals, but I think that more than likely, most of the people that are signing up as guests for your services are social butterflies that aren't scared to go in a room with 120 people that they don't know, if you will. And again, it makes that much more sense, and it'd be great testimonials for you when these random people are now friends with the couples moving forward. We see things on social media all the time where, I saw this thing where, this guy left a voicemail for his aunt, and some old lady picked up and she didn't have somewhere to go for Thanksgiving. And
I
now
know the story. Yes, it's
so,
so
like,
heartbreaking.
so true. Like, that stuff happens all the time. So it's like, why not you guys? Why not, these real bonds and relationships? But again, you saying that you're taking things a step further with demographics and music and the couple and the culture, I think it makes it that much more appealing to people. So kudos for you for that. But I think, again, if it's me, I'm 42. I joke and say I'm the old man in my wedding world as, like, the prime 25 to 35, if you will. But like me, I want a 32-year-old couple that wants a lot of early 2000s music and has great cocktail hour food. I bring this up a lot on the podcast where, like, I'm very rarely a guest at weddings, and I also am not a big drinker. But when I do, like me going to a wedding is one of them nights where I'm going to let loose, have a good amount of drinks. But I also feel like by the time dinner comes around, I'm not trying to sit down and eat a steak. And I don't want to be full because I want to dance and I want to drink. So like, again, all these little extras of knowing what the cocktail hour food. And if you don't have cocktail hour food, that should be added there because I think that's massive. I care more about the cocktail hour food than the actual dinner because the cocktail hour food is all in front of you. You can pick and choose. And I feel like a lot of people skimp on cocktail because they know a big meal's coming. I don't care what the chicken or fish is like. It could be dried steak, if you will. I always go to town on the cocktail hour. So I always think that's a good one too.
That's really great feedback. And you made me think about another guest audience, which is couples that are engaged, perhaps like yourself. You go to attend a wedding to get wedding inspiration about your own wedding.
1,000,000%. And to be honest with you, this is something in my pitches when I sell people, when someone's talking to me in a consult and they're like, oh, my sister got married last year, I immediately know her sister's DJ blew because she wouldn't be on the phone with me because she would have booked that guy already. So when I say this and I talk to engaged couples that have been to other weddings, they are fine-tuned, tooth comb kind of thing, like just being a sponge to everything and every wedding they go to.
That's right.
So I definitely think that's super important as far as like little details to make things, and again, as you guys grow and build, it's that much more exciting if you have 3 Philly wedding options in the next 3 weeks to go to kind of thing instead of 75 miles at the wall. But going back to your 100-mile thing, I also think this is something big. And again, I hope I can feed you multiple ideas in this conversation, but something popular these days, and I keep saying it about Gen Z couples, is that we had a friend come on, and I'm going to give her credit. Her name is Amanda Beam. She's a event planner. She's calling it the wedding bubble, and now I'm just riding with it. But like more and more couples are having this wedding weekend where it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I'm so over rehearsal dinners. I think they're the dumbest thing in the world. Everyone that's going to line up and walk down the aisle, and people spend money on it. But what I also love about this wedding bubble is that they get a lot of hellos and thank yous out of the way. They don't have to spend time bullshitting with Aunt Karen that they don't give a shit to talk about at the wedding when it flies by and they only have so much time. Depending on how many people are at that Friday welcome party, maybe even banging out some welcome speeches and some toasts that they don't have to do on the wedding day. So again, all of these things, I think just, weddings are way better today than they were 10 years ago. I'm in year 20 and my young guys have no idea how good they have it because 20 years ago, it was the same thing every single weekend. And now every weekend is completely different. And again, that's great for you guys because if it was the same thing every weekend, you probably wouldn't have as many guests. And hopefully for you guys, you have repeat clients that go to multiple weddings 2-3 times a year for their date nights, if you will.
We already do. Yeah.
Awesome. You already have people that have signed up for more than one. That's so
yeah. We actually, one in particular, they're our first couple, a guest at our first wedding. We actually went and got dinner with them about maybe it was a month ago now. They're going to a wedding.
Left out. We also attended the first wedding as Crashers.
I love this. Okay.
So we had 2 couples there. It was us and then another couple for the first wedding.
It was in Los Angeles.
Yeah, Los Angeles area. And so that same couple, we've actually met up with them for dinner a few weeks ago. And then they have, they're already approved, I think, for one wedding, another wedding.
Las Vegas later in the fall, in September, I think it is. They're going to a wedding, another wedding there. And then there's other weddings that they've applied to that are coming up this fall.
I'm going to post this in the Philly group when we air this. And I'm not doing it for the podcast. I'm not doing it for you guys. I'm doing it so I can go to a wedding in Philly that, is a stranger to check this out because I want to be firsthand, get to see this.
I'm going to turn around on you a little bit. You just said you're engaged. Are you guys getting married at some point in the future?
Oh, I hate saying it sometimes. We've been engaged 5 years, so I probably should pull the trigger already. To give you the long story short, early in our relationship, probably 2 years, it was like, we're mid-30s. Do we want kids, house, baby, the whole 9 yards? And it was like, we want kids. We were mid-30s. And then it was supposed to be like a long time until the ring. And then I gave her a ring immediately, and then we bought a house. And I was like, well, if I didn't give you the ring as early as I planned, we'd probably only be a year and a half in now. And also, as you guys know, wedding planning is super expensive. And it's like, do we want to spend all this money? We've talked about, moving down here and spending different money and stuff.
Yeah.
My big thing is, as far as for me personally, someone that's been in this business for 20 years, everything. So I want to have the most over the top, outlandish Travis Kelce, Elder Swift kind of wedding. And there will be doves flying, and like I'm probably going to be so over the top. It's also why like she would go to the Justice of Peace tomorrow. She doesn't care. 10 people, that's not me. Maybe your people in Vegas I'd consider, but like I want to do it like super over the top. And to be honest with you, the big wedding that I have that's going to be so over the top, I'm probably going to need a 300% guest count. So I might have to hit you guys up for some seats kind of thing.
Well, you may have read between the lines. My next question is, would you have open availability for wedding crashers or not a wedding crasher?
So, and here's the blunt answer to this. And she already said it earlier. Me, 100%. My fiance, don't know if it's as easy of a sell. She has a lot of high anxiety about stuff. So like, I feel like she'd be, but again, what's the number? 2 guests? I don't think you even noticed that. 20? That's a massive difference. And I also think, again, that's me just kind of wheels turning for you guys. Is there any difference? Is it all the same as far as like bundle? Do you guys do any bundling? Does that make it, I mean,
how so?
Just trying to give you ideas too for stuff like, if they have 2 guests open or 25, is it more appealing to get 25? And that's per table. This also goes back to me doing the prom stuff. I do discounts if they book a table versus just a couple, and I know I'm getting 12 people versus a couple. So
yeah, no, that's a good thought. I haven't thought about it from a pricing structure perspective. Sure. I think we need more data points to just understand that.
Numbers are everything. What you can do the homework on. Guys, any final thoughts that we can add to this to just for anyone that's listening of why they should give you guys a call?
We built this because we've had a wedding. We've been married for a long time. We've been on both host/couple side and guest. We think there's a really great opportunity for everybody involved on both sides. And we'd love to see more people sharing experiences with others. This really comes down to human connection. And at the end of the day, people need to socialize and communicate. And this is a way to do that in a really meaningful way.
I can't agree more. I don't think I've said this or not, but again, weddings are always evolving. And as I mentioned, I say BC a lot for before COVID, but weddings are completely different since COVID. Like absolutely, like I feel like I'm literally in a different world from what we were doing 7 years ago. Can't believe it's been almost 7 years. But I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, just from your stats so far, I think this is a Gen Z all day versus, I'll say my age of, I think you have a way better chance of getting more couples clients that are 27 than you do 42. Am I wrong there, you think? Or what do you guys think your demographics are?
I think going back to the original, which is like, we thought this was going to be kind of that 20, in my opinion, 24 to 35 range. We're to have that, but we also have like the 45 to 65 range. There's a lot of single people that are going because they just love celebrating other people's love. Like it's been really amazing just seeing the diversity.
I also know people, we've had a photographer come on a couple weeks ago, and she says that she always cries at weddings as the photographer, and she doesn't know these people at all. But I also can see people like you just simply saying people love, and, maybe I'm the opposite when I said, like, I'm not going to their ceremony. I don't care. I want to come and be a client of yours, but I'm not going to an hour church, if you will. But there might be people that are just like, we're so excited to celebrate these strangers. I also think one more thing, technology and screens, and I'm always yelling at my kid to get off his iPad and stuff like that. So social interaction, I think, is down in the world right now. So one more opportunity to get yourself out there and meet new people and sit at a table with 8 total strangers at a wedding. Like, again, all positives in my opinion.
The couple has the option to have just have the ceremony and the reception, or just the reception. It's on them. So if they wanted the ceremony to be more intimate with people that they know, like close family and friends, they can choose to do that, or both.
I think that makes sense too.
I
Yeah,
have a lot
I'm
of friends that are still struggling to get out and be social after COVID. I know it's been, 6-7 years, but I still have friends that are looking for a reason to get dressed up and have somewhere to go.
I,
And
I,
so it's
I
nice to be
think
able to provide hopefully an opportunity for people to do that and get connection.
I love it, guys. Well, listen, I appreciate your time so much. I'm such a fan of this product. Uh, I'm telling you right now that you can reach out to me and tell me to go set up a profile once you get something in the Philly market. And just to go back, I mentioned the whole bubble thing was because the 100 miles doesn't necessarily scare me. As this whole, I said wedding weekend, that's my excuse to go to New York for the weekend and make a weekend out of this kind of thing. I realized I started to say all that and I never landed the plane of why I brought that up.
Oh, no worries. Yeah.
But like I said, guys, appreciate your time. Let me know when we got something in the Philly area. I'll talk to my fiance about setting up a profile. I'd love to come check it out and be a client. And I can't wait till we connect. And I can't wait till you guys reach out to me that you or one of your guests were at a wedding that we were part of for the DJ and photo or video team.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Thanks for having us, Harry. This
Thank
was
you,
really
Harry.
great conversation.
Awesome. I really enjoyed it myself. Of all the people that we've had come on, I think you might be like episode 50. I feel like I've never been more intrigued to ask questions because this is such a new product, new to everybody, and I'm just a fan. So,
Thank
Jeff
you.
and
We
Karina,
appreciate
so much.
you.
Yeah, appreciate
you.
it. And looking forward to it. Talk to you soon, guys. Thanks so much. All right, we're
Thank
out
you.
of here.